Hi, this is Sarah White. I'm Sarah here at the Talent Management Conference in Washington, D.C., and I have a chance to have a conversation with Todd Hudson, the head Maverick at the Maverick Institute. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about what your organization does?
Sure. So we help companies create and implement new strategies for training and development based on lean manufacturing principles. So it's all about how do you get the waste out of training and development, and how do you basically create more learning value.
And I think one of the areas that we forget about in recruiting as training is really onboarding. And once we hire that candidate, bringing them in and onboarding them is really all about training. Can you talk a little bit about what you're finding unique in the onboarding process?
Yeah, I guess, so onboarding is really knowledge transfer. You're trying to teach people, so what do they need to know about the company culture? Maybe it's technical, maybe it's social, whatever it is. But most companies, they don't have a good structure for doing that. They sort of do this fire hose of knowledge where I'm going to sit you down for 3 days or a week in a classroom and just kind of, tell you everything you need to know. And people don't retain that information. That's a lot of waste there. So you want to have a much more structured approach that people can execute on their own. So you come in, you learn a little bit, you do some work, you learn some more, but companies sort of want to get it over with, and the training usually it's never over with.
Are you finding even more specifically any issues surrounding millennials or Gen Y right now?
Absolutely, yeah. Millennials are really good at finding out what they need to know. So even though companies want to control the experience of teaching people what they need to know, between your sessions of training, they're out on the web, looking at YouTube videos, tweeting with their friends. So they're learning stuff about what they need to do their jobs well without your guidance anyways. And it might not be totally correct. This is the problem, is people are out there learning things, but it might not be exactly what they need to know. But companies need to curate more of the information that they have and say, well, here are sources. You can go to this YouTube vid, you go read this article online, here are people you can tweet with online that are a reliable source of information for us. But go out there and learn on your own as well.
What would you say are the top 3 tips for an organization that was trying to start to improve their onboarding process on their own?
So I would say top 3 tips would be to, again, have this sort of self-structured path that people can follow. So be really clear about what it is you want people to be able to do when they come in, like what is the work and what are the skills that they should have, and then provide a path people can learn on their own, as well as resources that they can go to in the company and do that.
And your second tip?
I would say companies have to minimize what we call delay between people needing to know something and then learning it. So you've got to find ways of getting information to people immediately. So training and recruiting need to have basically this big list of resources that can answer these questions. And it might be external, it might be internal.
Great. And your last tip?
And my last tip, I guess, is to let millennials teach other millennials. The people who probably know best about how to get on board and up to speed in the company have just done it like a month or 2 ago. So I would say you want to use that resource over and over and over again, but don't rely on your existing employees who've been there for years and years to do all the training.
I think that is my favorite tip of all.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
You bet. My pleasure.